Hey friend, I'm moving soon, so let's do an unhaul. Hello everyone, what's up? My name's Elise. Welcome to my channel. I am moving within the next month and a half or two, and I have a lot of books to bring with me, so the less I have, the better. Also, I don't know if you just saw, I recently put up a haul of the books that I got free from the Texas Library Association conference in April. So we need to get rid of a lot of books. So let's just dive right in. Before I get started, I do want to say that it's not that these books are bad. They're just not for me, and they will have a better home elsewhere. First things first. My Oxford Year by Julia Whelan. I did not read this, but I did read her book, Thank You for Listening, last year. I'm really sad to say that I didn't enjoy it, and then I did a little more research on this, and it's more politically inclined, and I'm just not feeling it. Next we have Unforgettable by Trish Perry. I've had this since I worked at Lifeway in college, a bookstore. Wow, when was that? 2014. Almost a decade ago. Oh my gosh, I've had this book almost a decade and I haven't read it, and I'm not going to. Earlier this year, I read As Old as Time, which is a twisted tale written by Liz Braswell. It is the first 3 of the Twisted Tale series, so it was still like, you know, earning its legs then, but I did not have the best time, and some of my fears about reading it came true. You can check it out in this vlog if you're interested. Don't want to say too much more about that, but I do know that I do not want to read these. I did read the first chapter of this one and I just wasn't feeling it. So I am probably going to sell these or donate them to my local library. Next we have Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I'm a little bummed I bought this because it is available on the Audible library for free. It comes with a membership, so I ended up just listening to it, and this was not for me. I totally understand the whole morally gray thing. I totally understand certain actions happening under certain pretenses, but when you realize you're wrong, bro, apologize for it. You don't just act like it didn't happen. Okay? If that happened to you, you should freaking stand up for yourself, and I just couldn't get over that. So this is a no for me. Next we got My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I enjoyed this. It was a fun time reading it. I didn't really hate anything about it. It was just really simple and cozy. That's it though. I don't really think about this often, and I think it was a little anticlimactic for me. So yeah, I know I'm never gonna read this again. I don't really talk about it much, so I'm just gonna give it to another home. Next we have The Electric Kingdom by David Arnold. I did do a reading vlog with this in it last year, and I talked about it last year, and I thought that this was going to be a 5-star read for me. And pretty much up until the first half, I loved this book. I was so enraptured with it, and then I don't know what happened. Okay, there were a few things that happened. The second half of the book just felt like, rather than growth, it was just like our main character, Nico, it just felt like she became a little bit of a different person, and I wasn't super on board with that. And the ending was a little too open for me. I wanted just a little bit more evidence of something good for our main character because she goes through a lot. I will say the way that it was woven was really interesting, but I was just like so disappointed with the last half of the book that I don't want to keep it. So we're gonna give this another home. I bought these on a bad day when I just needed some serotonin or whatever chemical you get when you buy things. And I thought that I would be a poetry girly and like have these laying around, and I'm not a poetry girly. I've tried. I've read prose. I've read poetry. It's not for me. My brain doesn't like it. So yeah. Then we have Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I ended up DNFing this last year. I got about a third of the way and I was like, what is the point of this book? I didn't see where it was going. Just wasn't having a great time. So I'm gonna move this along. Then we have Texas Rose Forever by Katie Grakowski. This is part of the Texas Rose Ranch series. I enjoyed it. I had a good time, but I'm not gonna read it again. And as this was gifted to me, I think I'll probably gift it to someone else, either through the library if they want it, or through like a little free library or something like that. It was fun. The only thing that probably kept this from being an elevated story for me was that it did focus on genealogy. and that's just not a huge interest to me personally. I thought it was done pretty well in the story though to like make it interesting enough, but if someone's interested in genealogy and like family histories, you'll really love this story. Also, I love the banter, it was really fun. Next we have Sideline Confidential by Brooke Bentley. This is an advanced reader's copy, so I probably will be dropping this in a little free library. This was marketed kind of as a romance. I don't think this is a romance. And so once I found out, I just didn't feel like reading it anymore. I just had that expectation, and then when it didn't meet that, I was just kind of like, oh, hopefully someone else will enjoy it. Then we have Fairest of All, a graphic novel. My mom got this last year at TLA and let me read it. This was interesting and it had a lot of potential. I didn't always love the use of colors. There was just so much potential, and I admit I am not an artist, but even with 3 colors and shading and line work, they could have made an even bigger impact on the story and also helped the reader a little bit, like, you know, letting us know when it was in the past or when it was in the present or when she was having a daydream or something like that. It was very confusing at times, and so that really took me out of the story, but I enjoyed reading it. Next we have Linden Falls by Joshua Hershey. This was gifted to me by Joshua, thank you so much, but I'm just not going to get to it, and I would rather pass it on to someone who is going to read it and who might enjoy it more. Then we have The Penalty Box by Lynn Rush and Kelly Ann Blount. I won this in a giveaway on Instagram, and I think I just misunderstood it because I thought it was like an ice skating hockey romance, but the lady doesn't ice skate. She gets injured ice skating, and then she becomes the goalie on his team, and I don't know what it is about that, because I'm very like, you go girl, you do what you want, but I don't want to read that. Like, if that happened in real life, I would be like, yeah girl, you're a badass, you go girl, but I don't want to read it. I don't know. So to a new home. Then we have It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I have debated on tearing up the duology for a while now. I may even give away It Starts With Us, but I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. I'm never, ever gonna read this again. It had some cute moments in it, but I'm not mad I read it, but I don't want to keep it. Then we have The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I got this from Simon & Schuster because some of you guys signed up for Simon & Schuster through my link, so thank you so much. They only had like 3 or 4 options to choose from, and this was the best option. But as I did not have the best time with this book, I also don't think I'm gonna have the best time with this book, so on to a new family. Next we have Tomorrow There Will Be Apricots. This does look like it's a really cute and wholesome story, but I just never think about this, and I see it and I don't want to pick it up. Then we have Sabrina Cain. I just got this because I was able to choose something off a windfall table. I have read like the first chapter and not engaging in my opinion, so we're gonna let it go. Then we have A Week at the Shore. Again, I got it out of Windfall Table. If you don't know what Windfall Table is, it's a lot of like smaller stores or like secondhand stores. If you purchase a certain amount, they let you like choose an item off of that table. It's not calling to me. I've had it for like 2 years. The Geography of Lost Things by Jessica Brody. Jessica Brody wrote Save the Cat Writes a Novel and Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel, which I have read. Save the Cat Writes a Novel, and she mentions the beats and like the steps that she takes. She gives tons of examples. She wrote this book using the beats, but she also gives a ton of examples of books that I've already read or that I'm more interested in reading than this book. I doubt that this is a bad book. I think that this is probably a cute book. It sounded really cute. It had pretty decent ratings, but I just don't think I'm gonna read it anytime soon. So we're gonna let it go. This is Attack on Royal Mountain by Brett Jackson. This is actually a book written by my friend's dad, and when he told me, I was like, you know, starting writing my first book, I wanted to support him, so I bought it off Amazon. I haven't touched it. I have like breezed through a little bit, and it's very like diary-esque and a little dry because, you know, it is a diary. I'm just not gonna read it, and I feel like I already supported him by buying it. So we have It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn. This is Hyacinth's and Gareth's story, actually one of my favorites, but I actually found another one for free, and it's in much better shape without all this tape and like falling apart and stuff like that. So I'll probably just drop this in a little free library or something. Next, I know this is probably going to be a little controversial, but I am going to let go of Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I'm not gonna reread this book. I had a good time reading it, but I was a little disappointed in the mystery. The mystery gave us like a lot at the beginning of the story, and then it just felt like there were no wins until the very end when everything happened, and that in between really dragged for me. I did like the representation, and I loved Yadriel and Julian. I like the characters, but I just know that I'm not gonna read this again. I think I already unhauled this in a video before, and then I kept it because it was still the year I was reading this book, and so I talked about it a lot in videos, and then I never got rid of it, so goodbye. If you know, I did not love that book. This is part of my read or bust in 2023. I did not read it, and I'm not mad about it. I did watch the movie and I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I want to put myself through that. These next three were also part of my read or bust 2023 that I did not read, and I'm not mad about giving away. That was the point of the read or bust. So we have Stars Collide, The Undomestic Goddess, Catching Stars. I've tried reading this a few times. I've read like the first chapter or two a few times, and I just couldn't really get past that, and I'm sure if I'd kept going it would have gotten really good, because that tends to happen. I'm not always in the mood for a book, and then I keep going and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really good. But I got enough options, so. Like I mentioned before, I am moving soon, and I am going to try and get rid of these. By the time I upload this video, I should have my Pango bookshop up and ready to go. If any of these catch your eyes that are fully published and not ARCs, then definitely check out my Pango bookshop, because some of these nice ones I will probably be uploading onto Pango. I also have a bunch of other books that are really good quality, slightly popular over here, that I keep just in case, as for like gifts or in case I want to sell them. Definitely check it out. Alright my friends, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please consider giving it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you have not already. I hope you're doing well whenever and wherever you're watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye everyone!